Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down a hilarious story about a simple plan that went so wrong. It's a perfect reminder that sometimes the best journeys are the ones you never ever meant to take.
Okay, let's just jump right in. This one sentence from our hero, Dara, it says it all, doesn't it? This is the conclusion she came to after her ordeal, and it's the perfect place for us to start.
You know how it is. The most chaotic stories always seem to start with the simplest plans. And this one began with a mission we can all get behind, visiting a cousin to score some free food. A truly noble cause.
I mean, look at this plan. It's almost elegant in its simplicity. 3 steps. Take a bus, eat free food, come back. What could possibly go wrong? Famous last words, right? This little checklist just makes the chaos that's coming even better. And here it is, that classic moment of confidence right before everything falls apart. That feeling of, yup, I've got this. I am totally winning at being an adult. As you can probably guess, that feeling didn't last very long. So, the trip starts off great. She's feeling good, probably has a window seat, everything is fine. But that little 20-minute bubble of calm, yeah, it was about to be burst by that slow, creeping feeling that something is very wrong. And this, right here, is where things take a hard left turn. The plan was a trip across the city. The reality was a surprise detour into the great unknown. From busy streets to, well, a place she definitely did not buy a ticket for. Can you just imagine the frantic thoughts racing through her head? The city buildings disappear, and suddenly it's just fields. That's the moment of pure panic. Where am I? And more importantly, why are there cows just chilling on the road? This just lays it all out so perfectly. The massive gap between where she thought she was going and where she actually ended up. On the one hand, the city she knows. On the other, a bunch of cows who seem to be silently judging her life choices. And here's where that low-level anxiety skyrockets into full-blown dread. There's a very specific kind of horror that comes from watching a bus empty out until you are the only person left, at the end of the line, in the middle of nowhere. So she finally gets up the courage to ask the bus driver if he's going to the city, and his answer just crushes her soul. A simple, blunt no. This is the last stop. No hope, no simple detour. She was just completely, utterly lost. The true scale of her blunder really hits home when she calls her cousin, who, after apparently laughing for 2 straight minutes, confirms the awful truth. It wasn't just a slightly wrong turn. Nope. It was a full 180-degree screw-up. The bus driver did offer one tiny glimmer of hope. The right bus would show up eventually. But first, she had a long, super awkward wait ahead of her, with only her own embarrassment and some new 4-legged friends for company. 1. An entire hour. 60 minutes of just standing there, trying your absolute best to look like you're there on purpose. You know that move where you pretend to be busy and not at all like someone who just monumentally failed at taking a bus? So, how did she pass the time? Well, it started with the classic move, pretending to check your phone, which, of course, had no signal. From there, it escalated to a high-stakes staring contest with a local cow, and finally, she found a friendly dog to spill all her problems to. Probably the most productive part of the hour. At last, salvation arrives. The correct bus pulls up. The physical journey is almost over, but let's be honest, the emotional scars from the whole stranded with cows incident, those are gonna last a while. And you can see just how deep those scars run right here. 3 times. That's how many times she had to confirm with the new driver that he was, in fact, going to the city. All that confidence from the morning was gone, replaced by a healthy dose of paranoia. And this was the final tally, the total cost of her mistake. 3 hours late. What should have been a simple trip turned into a 3-hour epic. That free food was still waiting, but the pilgrimage to get it was much longer than expected. But the journey wasn't quite over. When she finally arrived, she had to sing for her supper, so to speak. The price of admission was recounting the whole humiliating adventure, step by step, for her cousin's amusement. The price of free food can be high, my friends. So after all that chaos, What can we actually learn from this whole ordeal? Well, beyond just having a good laugh, there are some real, hard-won nuggets of wisdom in here. So it all boils down to these four crucial life lessons. You've got the practical stuff, like, always double check the bus number. Then there's the more profound stuff, like don't be afraid to just ask someone for help. And of course, the most important scientific finding, cows are not helpful tour guides. And maybe, just maybe, don't always assume you know what you're doing. And really, that's what it's all about. This is a perfect example of how our most embarrassing, stressful moments have a funny way of turning into our absolute best stories later on. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. We've all had a wrong bus adventure, right? A time when a simple plan just went completely sideways. They're humbling, for sure, but they're also a pretty good reminder not to take ourselves too seriously. So what's yours?